Hello everyone, I am Crawlers and today is a video I devote to shotguns in Battlefield 4. Well, it's really been no secret that shotguns in Battlefield 4 absolutely sucked from the game's release and honestly felt broken. Unlike Battlefield 3 shotguns, these, you know, weren't fun to use, and in close quarters where shotguns are supposed to absolutely be a one-hit kill every time, people were always getting partial hits and, no kills even at close range. Well, it's been a crapshoot at best, and shotguns were always incredibly inconsistent in Battlefield 4, and, sometimes you'd get a kill at range of like 10 meters or more, where buckshot isn't, where a buckshot kill isn't, guaranteed supposedly, and sometimes you'd have a lot of trouble getting a point-blank kill with a shotgun blast to the face. Well, needless to say, shotguns, being pellet guns, are supposed to be a one-hit kill up close, like they were in Battlefield 3. And adding to that, their rate of fire, their slow rate of fire, and the inconsistencies, it was very likely that you'd be killed before making that follow-up shot and, killing the enemy. So, people did what? They blamed their the so-called netcode and their lag and, their bad hit detection in Battlefield 4 for the pellet guns being inconsistent the way they are. But recently, a Redditor by the name of Shimmy came up with an explanation for the shotguns being ridiculously bad in Battlefield 4. This is actually a very simple explanation, and it shows, in fact, like several other things in Battlefield 4, DICE just made a conscious decision on release of the game to break the mechanic of the pellet guns, shotguns, to basically make them unusable or just a very bad choice over other guns. Basically, this explanation, and pardon my MS Paint skills here, but I threw together a simple drawing to explain. First is a simple diagram of what you'd expect the pellet spread to be like once you fire it from a shotgun, and see how it spreads supposedly evenly, fills up the aiming circle right in the center of the screen, and it comes out as it comes out of the barrel. Well, the red point in the center, by the way, isn't the center of the screen, it's the center of the conical spread of the pellets. Now, the second drawing I made basically shows you how the actual pellet spread works. Here's a scary idea. It's absolutely random. Think of hip firing the assault rifle. You have the crosshairs on the screen showing you the approximate area inside which your bullets will hit. And each time you fire a bullet, you get a randomly selected spot in that area where the bullet hits, right? Well, DICE did a similar thing with shotguns. Contrary to any logic, it seems, what Battlefield 4 does is, instead of filling up the hipfire aiming circle with pellets evenly, it chooses a random spot inside the circle as a center of the spread and makes the cone around that. So it's a crapshoot quite literally. So what this means is that the hit area is completely random, but still inside that circle on the screen, the hipfire reticle. Now imagine, if you would, an enemy that you need to shoot with pellets. You are surprised by an up-close encounter with an enemy who jumps out of a dark corner on Operation Clusterfuck, and before you have time to superimpose the entire circle on him, you fire. You had half the aiming circle covering him, and any sane person would expect half the buckshot to hit him and partially punch his ticket. he might limp away afterwards, maybe not. This is what would happen in Battlefield 3. But someone inside DICE thought, hey, shotguns in Battlefield 3 were so OP, they were completely dependable and got kills every time someone fired them. That just won't work this time. We need to break shotguns, so now they become like a game of chance every time you fire them. So, every time a player gets a kill with a shotgun, he feels like he's just won the lottery. So that's what they did basically. And that's why this particular enemy shot you and walked away unscathed by the point-blank buckshot spread that flew by him so close, it ruffled his toupee. Now what does this all mean? Well, it means that if your enemy fills the entire circle, the entire aiming circle reticle of the hipfire shotgun spread, you are going to get a kill every time, guaranteed. But if that same enemy only fills half of the screen or so, you aren't going to get, let's say, a 50% buckshot penetration. In fact, you might not get a single buckshot pellet connecting with him at all, because the random spread might just, fly by him, at which point he'll turn around and blast you away. And using barrel modifiers like the choke makes this even worse, because the choke only makes the grouping of the pellets tighter, and as a side effect actually worsens the hipfire accuracy, I believe, thereby making the circle even bigger. So you have even more randomness inserted into your aiming, and I mean, this is a very obvious and glaring problem. I mean, who in the hell would ever in their right mind think that a random element in a shotgun spread would be a good idea in an FPS game such as, Battlefield 4? And one that you have no way of predicting even. I mean, this is terrible, and you just have to wonder why DICE would even do such a thing. I mean, why they would break the shotguns intentionally, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's all gone pear-shaped, isn't it? I mean, I haven't developed a thing in my life, and I know fuck all about anything, but I have more sense than going about digging with things that work and aren't broken. But, DICE, I mean, what the hell? These are smart people. They're and, but they seem to make a stupid decision one right after the other. Unless, some dickhead higher up at EA thought he had the knack for developing and writing a game and pushed for a game feature that had no place in said game. I mean, happens all the time, I'm sure. Well, I can think of a couple of reasons right off the bat that they did this, which by no means justify this horrible design decision. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely hate it. And, when I heard about it, I was basically knocked on my ass, nearly breaking that bottle of vodka in my back pocket and getting an ass full of glass shards. So, why did DICE think shotguns needed to be taken down a notch in Battlefield 4? Well, in Battlefield 3 they were uber weapons, and we all remember that, right? A part of them probably thought that since shotguns were OP at close range, they needed to be, well, shat on. I'm sorry, I can't think of a better word here. Another reason could be that since Battlefield 4 has a lot more attachments for shotguns like choke and the duckbill and all kinds of grips, maybe DICE thought that this would somehow bring a counter to balancing the wild, unpredictable spread, making people use the attachments a bit more. Maybe because there's a lot of semi-automatic shotguns in Battlefield 4, and DICE thought that they would be uber weapons and needed a severe nerf. Whatever made them decide this, I think it was completely terrible and unjustified decision, but, then again, DICE has a history of making these, haven't they? Remember the god-awful revolver trigger delay that they supposedly removed in the 930 patch by patching by DICE away? I mean, the thing was getting it was a game-breaking mechanic. I mean, it was terribly unjustified. Most, if not all, the community was against it from day one, and it took DICE nearly a year to get their heads out of their asses and patch the damn things, removing the delay completely. And so, naturally, people started blaming their internet, lag, the bad hit detection in Battlefield 4, and all sorts of other things, even their own aim. And because, they couldn't hit anything or kill anything with the shotgun. But they needn't worry anymore. It was DICE that bamboozled us all, intentionally breaking the shotguns from the very start. And until they patch the damn things, and I really hope they do, at least in CTE, at least give us that, DICE, what you can do is play like a schmuck and ADS before firing the shotguns. What this does is, well, it defeats the very purpose of a scattergun, you might say. And yes, I am well aware of that fact, but really it's the only way you can be reasonably sure of where your pellets will land when playing in Battlefield 4 and shooting the shotguns. Because when ADSing, the cone spread of the pellets basically that fly out along your line of sight, more or less, and you will definitely hit what you're aiming at. Never mind that the shotgun was never an OP weapon, and its range is severely limited, especially with buckshot, and its rate of fire sucks. And the damn buckshot actually does a lot less damage to enemies with the armor perk. DICE would still do this to us and not say a thing. And before you leave me angry comments, yes, I am aware that they patched buckshot to do a little bit more damage against the defensive perk, but to me that's just bullshit anyway, outright bullshit, since, sure, you can use flechettes to penetrate the armor with 100% certainty, but they do less damage. And speaking of, why the 1.0 headshot multiplier? I mean, I could never really understand this. I think any hit to the head should be at least a 1.5 or a 2.0 damage multiplier, be it a regular bullet or a buckshot pellet. I mean, it's the head, for God's sake. It's kind of a vital organ, don't you think? Well, for some at least. Oh, and by the way, I haven't mentioned the slugs yet, the sable rounds for the shotgun, because those work off the same bloody broken mechanic as the buckshot and the flechettes in Battlefield 4. So basically, despite the different aiming reticle on the screen, the slug actually works like the buckshot or the flechettes, or even a hip-fired bullet from an assault rifle for that matter. It goes and hits into a random spot inside that hip-fire crosshair, and I've illustrated this with the circle to just kind of show the area inside which it has a probability of hitting. So it won't always hit that center when hip-firing. Good thing that DICE buffed the muzzle velocity of the slug in the 930 patch to 380 meters a second, but it's still a huge loss of performance, this random element being introduced to the aiming, especially considering the damn things lose their one-hit kill potential at around 13 meters, if I'm not mistaken. So shame on you, DICE, if you actually thought breaking the shotguns intentionally would be a good idea. And same thing goes for the revolver, goddammit. I mean, a year they were unusable in the game because what? They were OP in Battlefield 3? What the hell were you smoking when you came up with that? So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Please rate and share this video as it helps my channel grow. Check out my other videos at the end of this one, and remember, in Soviet Russia, YouTube subscribes you.